Now, the National Museum Benin City joins the rest of the international museum community to celebrate this year's International Museum Day. This year's theme, Museums for Education and Research, was well emphasized throughout the program of events of the celebration at the National Museum Ground, Benin City. The occasion was graced by the National Museum Curator, Mr. Mark Olaiton, Chief Osemi Gieru, the Director and Curator, National Gallery of Arts, Simeon Owolabi, the Zonal Director, National Council for Arts and Culture, Mrs. Betsy Ivie Igbinoba, and others. The report.
The National Museum Benin City was not left out in the annual celebration of the International Museum Day. This year's theme, Museums for Education and Research, underscores the pivotal role of cultural institutions in providing a holistic educational experience, and it was well reflected in all the activities in the program of events. This year's celebration of the International Museum Day was a culturally colorful event as students from some schools in the Benin City metropolis, dressed in traditional attire, participated in cultural dances portraying the Edo, Igbo, and Yoruba ethnic groups. In an address, Chairman of the occasion, Mr. Simeon Owolabi, the Director and Curator, National Gallery of Arts, stated that museums are vital tools for education and research. On his part, the Curator, National Museum Benin City, Mr. Olaiton, expressed gratitude to all who honor the invitation to celebrate this year's International Museum Day, organized by the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, Nigeria. Earlier, the Director General of the National Museums and Monuments, Mr. Olubule Holloway, represented by the Curator, National Museum Benin City, Mr. Mark Olaiton, stated that the 2024 theme of the International Museum Day resonates with the focus of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, using museums as tools of cultural preservation, serving as platforms for education that transcends the classroom experience. He therefore urged all to leverage on the educational power of museums to enlighten people.
The value of museums for education and research. We know that in every educational situation, I'm glad there are experts on the high table, it leads to research. And from research, quality documents are published for further enlightenment. The 2024 International Museum Day, titled Museum for Education.
On the occasion of the 2024 International Museum Day, every 18th May is a day set aside by the International Council of Museums, ICOM, to celebrate museums world over, as well as create awareness of the preservation, protection, and appreciation of the rich cultural and natural heritage of humanity. This year's theme, Museums for Education and Research, resonates deeply with the core mission of the National Commission for Museums and Monuments.
The goodwill messages for the event were given by the Father of the Day, Chief Osemi Gieru, and the Zonal Director, National Council for Arts and Culture, Mrs. Betsy Ivie Igbinoba. Both said that museums are vital for the preservation of a people's history and culture, and likened museums to a bank where artifacts are stored for documentation and education.
The museum is a place that the arts, those things that were made to take care of what has happened in our history before, are collected. Because you put them in writing, yes, very good. But some of them are photographs. Photographs and pictures can be torn. But a molded, particularly like that of Benin bronze, you'll be surprised that when they were made in the 14th, 13th century, there was no picture at that time.
Year in, year out, we joined the National Museum, National Commission for Museums and Monuments, in celebrating the International Museum Day. The Oba of Benin is doing his best to ensure that all artifacts taken away from us for over 100 years are being returned. And the museum, they are doing a great job because they are there to preserve it for us. The museum, we see the museum as the central bank of Nigerian artifacts.
This year's International Museum Day celebration at the National Museum Ground Benin City also included a lecture delivered by Dr. Segun Osaigboji, which focused on museums as tools for propagation of arts and culture, research, and transmission of information. Also, the event included a quiz competition for the students and a staff cultural dress parade.
Record keeping is not new to man, except for the fact that our brothers in white colors have decided to digitalize and improve upon the record-keeping method that they discovered here on Earth. From the caves, we had cave paintings, we had drawings, we had moldings, we had sculptures in different media, and all that contributed to our method of keeping records. Culture is a way of life of a people, but they usually don't add one other thing, of a people of a given geographical location, and that is culture. Now, what is museum? Museum as a not-for-profit permanent institution in the service of society that researches, collects, conserves, interprets, and exhibits tangible and intangible heritage.
All around the world, more and more museums participate in International Museum Day. Last year, more than 37,000 museums participated in the event in about 158 countries and territories. Oluwatoyin Oyedola reporting for BTV News.